Hello, it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and I have a layout to share today for SpiegelMom Scraps. And it's an exciting weekend for us over in SpiegelMom. We are celebrating 10 whole years of SpiegelMom Scraps. So it's our 10th anniversary. We're having a bit of a birthday bash over in the Spread the Sparkle Facebook group. And each member of the design team has some form of challenge or game or scrap along for you today. So I'm setting a challenge. So for mine, I have created a Tic Tac Toe grid. And if you're not familiar with Tic Tac Toes, the idea is that you make your way from kind of one side of the grid to the other. So you can either go horizontally or vertically or diagonally, as long as you go through that centre square, which is obviously SpiegelMom sequins. So I've chosen to go horizontally through the centre. So for my layout, I'm going to be using circles, SpiegelMom sequins and thread. And I'm also using the Simple Stories Sunkissed collection for this one. I think it's my first play with this collection. I've had it for a while now and just been kind of pushing it around my desk, struggling to use it. Don't know why. I'm just really struggling with this one. But so I've sat down today and told myself I will use it. And it worked out quite well in the end, so quite pleased that I did. As you can see on my desk there, I've pulled out 3 sequin mixes from SpiegelMom. I've got Oceanside Breeze, Carnation Bouquet, and is it Watermelon Crawl? I think the other one's called, with the really cute watermelon bits in it. I'm going to try and get all 3 of those on my layout. If you follow me on either Instagram or YouTube, you'll know I really do like to use a white background on my layouts. But this pattern paper from this Sunkissed collection really jumped out at me. The colours on it matched my photo perfectly, like the colours in my little boy's t-shirt. So I really wanted to get quite a large portion of that on the page. So I've cut my 12 by 12 white cardstock down by about ½ an inch down one side, and then torn across it horizontally, kind of an angle. And that gives me a nice big chunk of white space to have at the top. But it still allows me to have some of that pattern paper showing down the bottom and around the edge, and I'm going to try and build my layout and sort of my clustering along that torn edge at the bottom there. So I'm just going through this collection trying to decide what I want to use. I think I've got pretty much the entire collection, so it takes me a while to decide. I've got that tag there that I really want to use. It says "You're one in a melon," which I really like. It really makes me giggle. My son can be a bit of a melon at times as well, so it was kind of perfect for this layout. His t-shirt in the photo has also got little watermelons on it, wearing sunglasses, so I thought that was perfect. And quite often with these summer collections you get like pineapples on watermelons, and they're always the bits I have left over at the end that I just find a bit random. But my son's clothes this summer, lots of them have got pineapples and watermelons on, so I finally got an excuse to use those bits, so I'm quite pleased with myself. I think I get pineapples and watermelons on this layout. So what have I done so far? I've cut my photo in a circle. I had a few photos. I didn't know which one I was going to use at the beginning of this, but I've gone for this larger one. I think I've cut it about 4 inches across in a circle. And I used one of my metal nesting dies just as a template to help me out there. So I've got my circle photo. I almost put 2 on the page, but decided just to stick with the one. So I've got my photo and my melon tag there. I've pulled out the word chill. That is one of the foam stickers from the collection. Also got a foam pineapple over on the right there. Pulled out a couple of bits from the ephemera pack. I've got that sun umbrella and the sunglasses. Sunglasses work really well because the fruit slices on his t-shirt all have cute little sunglasses on. And then I've pulled out this piece here from, I think it's one of the ephemera packs, one of the journaling tags, and it's kind of like a pale mint colour with red flowers on it. And I'm going to turn that into a shaker pocket, which is perfect. So I've just gutted the middle with a craft knife, just gone around the edge there, cut that centre bit out, and now I'm going to stick that down onto some acetate. Acetate is brilliant for shaker pockets. It's sometimes I've used packaging in the past. It's not as rigid, so it doesn't work quite as well in my opinion. I do prefer acetate, and thankfully you can buy that at a SpiegelMom store. So in the description box below I'll leave a link to the store. that link will give you an automatic discount at checkout of 15%, so well worth saving that link for your future shopping needs. SpiegelMom do obviously sequins. They also do that big roll you saw there is the Big Mama adhesive foam tape roll, and that's fantastic for shaker pockets. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit too wide for this frame, so I've not been able to use it today. But it's fantastic stuff. Definitely recommend getting yourself some of that. And also SpiegelMom do the tear it tape and also shaker pocket starter kits, which are just perfect, everything you need for making your sequin shaker pockets. So like I said, the link for that will be in the description box below. So I've stuck my acetate down. I've added some craft foam behind that. Like I said, that Big Mama tape was just a little bit too wide and it's super sticky, that stuff. I've tried cutting it before and it just sticks to my scissors, so I didn't really want to trim it narrower. Narrower, is that a word? I'm not sure now. So I've just used some craft foam, and now I'm filling my pocket with beautiful sequins. So these two mixes you see here, this is Oceanside Breeze, the blue one, and the pink one is called Carnation Bouquet, and they have got to be the most sparkliest sequin mixes I've ever seen. They're absolutely stunning, so iridescent that they just really sparkle, and they work really well with that patterned paper I've used at the bottom of my background there, that I've used to add that white cardstock to. The colours were just fantastic. And I also want to add some of the little really cute watermelons from the watermelon crawl pack. So I'm just going through, I've poured it out on my desk, I'm just adding in some of those watermelons just to match his t-shirt. And I'm cramming this quite full. I want to have loads and loads of sparkle in this. So that's obviously my centre of my grid ticked off. I've got my SpiegelMom sequins on the page. I've also got a circle. I have cut my photo into a circle shape. I'm going to add a couple more circles in a minute as well, but for now I have got 2 of my 3 sort of boxes on my Tic Tac Toe grid ticked off, so not doing too bad. I'm now trying to decide how to back this shaker pocket, whether to use a patterned paper or just white cardstock. I'm going to use patterned paper in the end. I've applied some glue to the back of that foam, and now I've just backed that sequin shaker pocket. I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and then I'm going to trim around the edge there. I'm using quick dry tacky glue for this, and it dries really super quick, so great stuff. Literally just a few seconds I've held that for, and I was able to turn it over and just trim that excess off. And I'm just going to slot that shaker pocket just to the left of my photo there. So this layout's coming together quite quickly. I didn't really have much of a plan when I sat down to do this, if I'm honest, other than I wanted to use circles and obviously sequins and thread. So I sat down, and obviously creativity just flowed because it did come together quite quickly. This is me now bringing in a few more circles to my layout. So I've fussy cut 3 of the suns from one of the patterned papers. I've cut the sun rays or sunbeams off, and I've stuck those down to the back of my layout flat, and I'm going to recreate those sunbeams with some thread in a minute. Just getting there slowly, just finishing off with some more embellishing at the bottom there. I'm adding a pencil, very faint pencil line around the outside of that white cardstock because I'm going to machine stitch around the edge. So I've got 2 different ways of adding thread on this layout. I'm going to machine stitch, and I'm also going to hand stitch with embroidery thread just to add those sun rays back in. Just before I do all my stitching, I'm gutting part of that background paper. This part is going to sit behind the white cardstock, so it's not going to be seen, so it's a bit of a waste really. So I'm cutting it out, and then I can use that on another layout. Great way to stretch the collection and not waste loads. So there we go, off camera I have just stitched around the edge of my page there with a bright pink thread to match the Carnation Bouquet sequin mix, and I've also used a yellow embroidery thread and hand stitched those sun rays back in. When I'm doing hand stitching, I just use a paper piercing tool and pierce the holes so that I've got my holes in place, and then it's just a lot easier I find to stitch. So I did that off camera. It takes me a little bit of time, and I didn't want you just sitting staring at the top of my head. Adding some tear it tape behind that white cardstock now and getting that stuck in place. I could have stuck it down and then done my stitching, but my sewing machine lately is protesting about the fact that I keep stitching through double-sided tape. My needles are getting really sticky and they're not liking me, so I'm trying to stitch before sticking at the moment, just to trying to reduce the amount of stickiness going on the machine. Now I'm raising everything up with some craft foam. Again, I could use the Big Mama tape roll for this, but I am saving that for my shaker pockets. I don't want to run out anytime soon, so I'm keeping that for my shaker pockets because it is so sticky. It works really well with those. So now I've got sort of my background sorted and stuck down, and I know where things are going to be. I'm committing and going to work my way around now, getting things stuck down. Some things I'm using foam pads for, other things I'm using wet glue, just depends what it is and how big it is and what I can fit behind it. This little flamingo is so cute. That's another thing I usually have left over from summer collections, flamingos. I just don't tend to use them. But this layout was so summery, and because I've got some pink tones in my photo, I thought I would bring him in. And he's quite cute, let's face it. It was a bit of a crime leaving him in the pack. Just adding a few little stars in here and there. I've added that banner up the top there that says summer, kind of ties the whole thing together so those suns aren't just randomly sat in the middle there. They kind of go that summer, and the suns all kind of linked together now, coming down to the rest of my layout. I've added some yellow embroidery thread behind my through my tag there. I think I'm almost done now. It's been a while since I created this video. I always tell myself do my voiceovers straight away so I remember what I've done. But this one in particular I've just ended up leaving for a couple of weeks, so I'm guessing what I do next. I think everything is stuck in place. I'm just going to add some more sequins all around my clusters now. So I've pulled out the Carnation Bouquet and Oceanside Breeze again, just because I just can't resist these two with their iridescent sparkleness. I just have to use them. So I'm adding some more all around my sort of the edge of my clusters and things, a few on top of things, a few tucked around the edge. I kind of want them to look like I've naturally scattered them, but at the same time I want to try and control where I put them, so I'm kind of placing them individually rather than just pinching them and sprinkling them on. And I've added a few up the top as well, either side of that banner. Now I'm just going to work my way around with my glossy accents and get all of those stuck in place. And that's it, that's all of those stuck in place. I always tip my layout over just to check everything is stuck and nothing falls off. Yeah, and that's me done for today. So thank you very much for joining me. I do hope you'll join us over in the Spread the Sparkle Facebook group so that you can join in with our weekend celebration. We're here all throughout the weekend with different challenges and games and fun things for you to do. There's also going to be some prizes as well, so look out for those in the group. I will leave the links in the description box below to the store. Don't forget that link will give you your discount, and I will also leave a link to the Spread the Sparkle group, so if you're not already in the group but fancy joining us, you can just follow that link and send a request and we'll get you in for the party. So thanks very much again for joining me, and I shall see you next time.